Jason is here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and today we're on Ray Delay Day 2. In case you guys don't know, a giant ray delay is coming in from the southwest. It's covering most of the western continental part of the world, and we're in Day 2 of the ray storm, and it's crazy, you guys. So take care of yourselves. How's it going? How's it going, Rob and Bespin? How are you guys surviving the catastrophe of
It just got
2024?
like 9 inches of snow last
Mhm.
night. So I got a ray delay all over my friggin' house, dude. Like it is pure white. It was so bright last night that
Yeah.
it was like light coming in. I mean, you know that Christmas Vacation when they turn on the Christmas lights and it's like gleaming through people's houses. It was
Mhm.
like that. I'm like, that's what a ray delay feels like around here. You
That's
know,
a ray
like
delay.
fans they just lose their minds, Jason. Like they go, I thought 2 Star Wars movies were coming out on the same exact day. And I'm gonna get mad at Bespin over it.
Wait, hold on. You got a source that's not happening?
Yeah.
Because I read on BespinBulletin.com that there would be 2 Star Wars movies coming out on the same day.
Exact same day. Yeah.
Is
same
that
time too.
Is that accurate, Bespin? Is that what's
I
going on?
believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, and if it goes up on BespinBulletin.com, it should be assumed it's a Bespin Bulletin exclusive, correct?
Yeah, everything I've ever posted, whether it's covering you or the Hollywood Reporter,
It's yours. It's yours now. That's cool, dude. I mean, you're one of my best buds. I'm happy to give you what's mine is yours. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I think the trades would feel the same way. I can't speak for Snyder, but you know what? You can have Snyder shit too. It's cool, man.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fine. So, we had a yesterday, like, you know, the old shit kicking up kind of stuff going on with people that are trying to grandstand something that is, I don't know, it's weird. It's like they're angry at the news. But I don't honestly, I'm not a fan of the World of Real, or is that what it's called? I'm not a fan. I don't read it. It's not like a thing that I check out constantly or whatever, but you can go look at their stuff and see that they're generally like fairly on. So, when you covered their Star Wars scoop, I thought that was very, very valid. And when I read your article, it never confused me once that it was yours. I never thought Bespin is saying, this is my story. It's kind of weird. It's almost like some people on the internet didn't read your article maybe and let some other dumbass just tell them what they thought it meant. I don't know what happened yesterday, but that's what it looked like to me. And not trying to make more grief for you or anything, but it's kind of nuts.
I'm assuming it's still going on. Like I just saw that that Steve in the chat said, "Good call shutting off the public Twitter responses." So I assume that it's still on. If I, like today, but I don't know. Like I said, I covered the World Real stuff. Like they said, they don't. And again, it's written in the initial thing from yesterday. That just because you're good in one field doesn't mean you're going to be good in another. We've seen many times people who might be good in Marvel try to do Star Wars stuff and it doesn't pan out. Right. So I wrote that in the thing yesterday. It was like, so when you write that, it's essentially like, well, don't take it as gospel. And again, I think the other issue is that when people assume that indefinitely delayed means cancelled or scrapped, when in reality, it's just at that moment, at least according to that one source, that one outlet, that it doesn't have a set date.
Undated, like most Star Wars fans.
No, but here's the problem I have with fans. They all think they're fucking genius, right? These people, until they get handed some very basic English, right? Like, hey, they go Bespin and this other place, they're just clickbait monsters. They're just trying to get click hate. Well, don't you think canceled Star Wars would make a lot more money than indefinitely delayed? Like if it were canceled, wouldn't they just put Star Wars Ray movie canceled? Because believe me, the anti-women right-wing hate movement clickbait movement would make a lot more on a Ray movie canceled headline than indefinitely delayed. Most people don't even like. Most Americans don't even like saying the word indefinitely. Like it makes them sound like Rain Man. Like I'm sorry, but that was
Indefinitely.
definitely
Delayed.
indefinitely. Like that's
Mhm.
you just put canceled. Like
It's
Yeah.
also like
sorry.
I think
Can anyone also tell me what day is the movie coming out then? What day? Just curious.
They never said, which is why we're in this game of semantics right now.
Right. But they're like, no, it's definitely coming out. Okay, what day? What day is it coming out?
Well, from like my vantage point, it's hilarious because number one, like we're gonna get into the two articles. Should I do them in order? Should I do like the Germain one first and then the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll do it like that, and I could guarantee you, just before we get into the articles from BespinBulletin.com, that the Ray movie was supposed to be the first movie. Everybody knew that. Anybody who tries to pretend like, well, they never said, therefore it never was, that is not true. That is just not true. I'm not even going to play it. I'm not going to entertain the stupidity of it. I'm not going to even entertain it at the level where Daisy fucking Ridley even thought it was the next Star Wars movie. That's how of the next Star Wars movie that Star Wars movie was. And also one little thing before we get into that article, those articles, is that I talked to my sources yesterday, and when we were talking about things, they were like, yeah, it's as likely to be the second or the third or the fourth one as Taika's. That's because it's in a spot right now. It has not moved forward. And Disney itself, through that to the mouthpiece, through Jermaine. I love Jermaine, don't get me wrong. And I think he did the due diligence. He went to the corporation and so on and got the answer that they wanted to give back and relate it. That said, it's a game of semantics. That's all that I think that this is when you really get down to it. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it was a couple of things. So it was a lot of people didn't like the terminology used. It was the indefinitely delayed thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, I think some people interpret that as scrapped or cancelled when it's not. Well, that's never the case. And I think a lot of people as well assumed that I was against the Ray movie because I had a lot of replies about how I must hate the Ray movie, which is not the case. I think it was just like 2 weeks ago on this show, like somebody in the chat said, "Hold on, you guys like Ray as a character?" And
yeah,
you and I talked about what we liked, and I said that the reason I liked the Rey character up and like I liked the Last Jedi and the Force Awakens. I don't like the Rise of Skywalker, but one of the reasons I liked Rey so much up to that point was because of the message that Ryan gave of she's nobody. She doesn't come from any lineage. She's not special. And
nobody can be anybody. It's a great idea, right?
Yeah, and any little girl who, again, because that's obviously who they were trying to go for and bring into the Star Wars world through the Rey character, just like as they try to do with people in the 70s and 80s with Luke and people in the early 2000s with Anakin. They want to bring people in through that character, and the message of anybody can be special, anybody can be the chosen one, essentially. Like that was a great message. And that's one of the reasons I don't like the Rise of Skywalker that much, because I think they mishandled the character and obviously the trilogy itself. But a lot of assumptions yesterday were made of that I must be against it or something. And
that's just because they're internet online professional victims. You know what I'm saying? Everything I love is being oppressed. Here I am fighting the good fight, and it's just like, no, you're fucking talking about Star Wars on the internet. You know what I mean? It's not your job to go around going, everybody, I love Rey. Guys, I love Rey. Hey, just so you know before you read this article, it doesn't fucking matter if you loved Rey or you hated Rey because you reported the news. You reported on another outlet, and there was no slant to what you wrote. There was no like, thank God this bullshit's over. This Charmin Obey is put in her place. Like, there was nothing like that in your article. Like, so these people don't read the article and then they get mad. Like, what the fuck? Grow up.
Given how Daisy Ridley deleted her social media presence because of the way people treated her, there's very likely a good section of time where Daisy Ridley herself didn't like that character. simply because of the shit that brought upon her life. I mean, I'm certain Ahmed Best wasn't the biggest Jar Jar fan for a while. You know what I mean? I'm certain whoever designed the Ewoks didn't feel too good. I mean, like we all know, Ray Marquand, but Richard
Ray Marquand, you're losing it.
I know.
No.
Hey, why don't we just
Ray Stance Marquand?
No, it should. She said of Skywalker. She goes, "My name is Marquand." And you're like, "Whoa,
Marquand.
shit!" Lucas,
we're in a real Marquandry here.
Yeah,
that opens the movie.
Yeah, Richard Marquand didn't take the Ewok hate too well either. Post Return of the Jedi, you know, that guy was just trying to make a great Star Wars movie, and a lot of people shit on it back in the day. So like reporting, I don't know, like this is so weird. We come here, right, and we're out here like, I mean, we're doing pretty much the good fight for 2 years straight. When people try and start race wars over fucking people being cast in Kenobi, you know what I mean? When people tell us, "Hey, the Saudis bought Star Wars," hey, they tell us Kathleen Kennedy's going to be fired after
Tuesday.
Tuesday. You know what I mean? Tuesday. And none of these things happen. But Bespin's out there like saying, "Hey, you know what I mean? These cartoons. I mean, like, how many things, Best? We reach his shit every day. Like,
what Bespin does is no, but all of these people, all these people don't go and read film sites, including that particular film site. I don't read, and he's like, "Look over here. Here's somebody saying something about the Rey movie." And he was like, "Hey, yeah, they're good. Sometimes, you know, they might not be great on Star Wars, but here's them slipping their like toe in it." And then, you know, like somebody sent me a screenshot from one of the Reddit forums. They're like, "This guy should be banned from this forum." And then, thank God, Legal Eagle is there, and he's just like, "What are you talking about?" And Legal Eagle set him straight. I saw
some people send me things from Reddit. Again, I haven't been there. I don't really know the story of it, but like, it was like, "Oh, well, this is bad luck for Bespin because he corroborated it." I didn't corroborate shit. Like, I didn't say, "Oh, my sources are saying this." I just said, "This is what this guy's reporting." And again, just because you write in one field doesn't mean you write in the other. So, you know, in that sense, don't take it as gospel, you know. And that was the report.
Someone goes right in the comments to go, "So, you know, Lucasfilm confirmed this isn't true." I'm like, no, Lucasfilm didn't confirm shit. Someone
we're about
said
to
their source said.
Don't. I'm gonna read the article right now.
Okay,
I'll put it up. I'll put it up right now.
Put it up right now. Just put it up right now.
And before we go, Shadow Ostrich, thank you for becoming a channel member. Appreciate that. That's awesome. That's one of the best ways to support the channel is to become a channel member. We also have a Patreon, Making Star Wars on Patreon, and my buddy Bespin Bulletin here also has a Patreon, and you could give him a coffee if you want to give him a tip for his pain and suffering over this last day.
Before we do this, 1 second about Harlan Ellison. Like, I just
want no.
Okay,
no,
you're right.
No, we're never. He is banned. Colin, you mentioned Harlan one more time. I will put you on timeout in the chat.
All right. Okay. I just had to do it.
Okay. This is from Bespin. This is the first article from Bespin of the two. Opposing report
yesterday. As soon as the report came out.
Yeah, as soon as we were done with the show, I was like, "Fucking hell, man!" Like we could have just kept going for 20 more minutes and got this out of the way.
I know. I stopped that. That's the only way to get out the show. It was 90 minutes yesterday. We had to end it.
Only because people at the end, people yesterday were like, even after I tweeted this out and shared this and wrote it, we're still like, you know, trying to tell me when you're going to retract the story, when you're going to talk about this, or when you're going to like cover this story. But
aggregates don't retract other people's fucking stories.
Yeah.
If you claim that you are a journalist, especially one of the big assholes who was going after you and really, I think, kicked up most of the fart dust yesterday, should fucking know that. But it wasn't about that. It was when someone thinks you're the king, they come for your head, Bespin. That's how it goes. And you got all of these little fucking peasants out there. "I'm a Star Wars content creator. Everybody, trust me. Listen to this guy." And then they see you, and they think if they go up and they think it's prison rules. They think if they come up, they shank you, then they're going to be a tough guy.
"I'm a Star Wars content creator." Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. Care to retract? Fucking what is that? That's not even the right terminology.
Is Denny's gonna retract Solo?
Yeah. I mean, the article would be World of Real retracts Ray report. That's what you would be covering. That would be your job. Unfortunately, though, we are pretending as if these people are genuine, as if they are sincere, when they're not. That's just what they are. They're little fucking monsters. I'm not a fan of a lot of the Star Wars content creators because they're all a bunch of inadequate nerds, myself included, who got attention. And then once they go and they get a little bit of it, they become fucking vampiric wolves. You know, they just want more blood. All right. Opposing report claims that the untitled Rey Skywalker Star Wars movie has not been delayed. Stephen Knight is still on board. Oh, wow. So really, when you get down to it, absolutely nothing has changed. Okay, here we go. Yesterday, a report from the World of Real claimed that the untitled Daisy Ridley-led Star Wars movie, set to be directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, had suffered a delay due to creative issues between Lucasfilm and the film's writer, Stephen Knight, Peaky Blinders. Now, a day later, another reputable outlet is denying the Real report. And then you could support him on Patreon, as we already said. Today, Jermaine of Gizmodo is responding to the World of Real report that set social media abuzz for the past 24 hours, which I covered earlier today. Yeah, that was yesterday. In the Gizmodo article, Lucier, Jermaine, my main man Jermaine, shares that after speaking with a source close to Lucasfilm, that the World of Real report is inaccurate, denying that the film has suffered a delay and that Stephen Knight is still part of the writing process, with Lucasfilm awaiting his latest draft. Just waiting for it. Just fucking waiting. Kathleen Kennedy's checking the mailbox every day. Open it up. Nope, not in there.
While the clock ticks ever closer to that release date of...
Yep. Of what?
Oh.
What? Oh, yeah. The one that they didn't give us, so that way they could deny anything. That's why, I mean, just before we go forward, if you want to know why Lucasfilm doesn't fucking tell you anything, this is why right here. Plausible deniability across the board. The World of Real report, I'm sorry, but it's what they fucking do. Like that's what this is. And if you're a cheerleader for Lucasfilm and you're going to deny that they do that, you're lying to yourself, because it's what they do. It's why they do it. Otherwise, there would just be release dates for these things, especially whenever they already have the dates blocked out and they've already pretended that those were release dates going to be for Star Wars films. So anyways, the World of Real report from yesterday claimed that the untitled Rey Skywalker movie had been delayed indefinitely. Look up the fucking definition if you never have and you're dumb. Meaning the film did not have a set release date and that the next Star Wars movie to be released in theaters would be the recently announced The Mandalorian and Grogu. In addition, World of Real added that the reason for the delay was creative issues between Knight and Lucasfilm, with the studio giving him so many notes on the draft he turned in most recently that he would have to start a draft from scratch. And I'll be honest with you guys, on that part of the story, I don't really think that makes a lot of sense to me, and it doesn't add up to a lot of the stuff that I've heard. Because number one, I just don't think I don't think he's actually turned it in personally still, based off of just a couple of other things. But anyways, that's what they said. Lastly, the outlet added that Knight had grown frustrated and that there was a possibility that he might not stay on the project, as he now focuses his efforts on his Peaky Blinders movie that is due to begin filming this summer. Now, I'm not taking sides here. That's what Bespin said. I'm taking a firm side. Both reports could be correct in my opinion. Yeah, they don't contradict, do they? The Real article never said Knight was off the project, just it was a possibility, and that he was due to pen a new draft. Makes sense? The Gizmodo article states that Knight is still part of the writing process and that Lucasfilm are awaiting a new draft from the writer. Both don't read drastically different to me. Knight is currently still on board and is supposed to submit a new draft of the script. But it makes sense. The only major difference in the reports is that the World of Real said that the film has been indefinitely delayed, and by the way some on social media have reacted, I'm unsure if they know what indefinitely delayed means. You should have wrote spoiler, they fucking don't. It doesn't mean the film is scrapped. It doesn't mean it's canceled. It just means it'll be delayed for an unspecified period of time. It simply means an unmeasured amount of time. And once again, before we get to you, I'm going to assume your next paragraph. I haven't read the article yet because I already know what you're going to say. But I'm going to guess that it's like, they never gave us an actual release date for anything, right? So that's the fucking game. The Gizmodo report denies that the film has been indefinitely delayed. However, the untitled Rey Skywalker film did not have a publicly announced release date, just that it was reported by various insiders and the trades that it was believed to be the next Star Wars film to be released in theaters. Daisy Ridley herself even said in November that she believes the film would be the next theatrical release Star Wars flick. Since June, there's been an untitled Star Wars movie to release in theaters on May 22nd, 2026. So that Lucasfilm have never specified which of their announced films would take that slot. And 100,000%, the Rey movie was the first one until the Mandalorian and Grogu press release. That's when things changed. So anyways, Gizmodo adds in the report from the recently announced The Mandalorian and Grogu movie has thrown a wrench in fans' assumption that the untitled Rey Skywalker movie would be the next Star Wars movie to release. Once again, though, we weren't thinking that once the Mandalorian and Grogu press release came out. But that's what this is pretending like. It's pretending like that's the environment we're in when we haven't thought that since the Mandalorian and Grogu press release. So it's like it's a fucking semantics game, and the cheerleaders and the haters are both fucking milking it. Gizmodo adds that the news has merely shifted things around and that Lucasfilm want to take their time with the Rey Skywalker movie and to make sure they get it right, which is most certainly something we all want. Of course. In Lucasfilm's announcement of The Mandalorian and Grogu last week, the studio shared that the film would enter production later this year and would lead their theatrical film slate, which included the Daisy Ridley-led film, Dave Filoni's Mandalorian crossover event film, and James Mangold's untitled Star Wars movie. So, what about Taika's movie and all the other movies, right? So, what's releasing first? At least to me, from Lucasfilm's press release, you would assume it's The Mandalorian and Grogu, based on the wording used. Fucking righto, man. Makes sense to me. That's the way anybody who was reading along thought. So, how we got here, I don't know. Again, Lucasfilm have never publicly committed a movie to the May 22nd, 2026 date, and they are holding for a Star Wars movie. It was merely reported by reputable insiders and the trades. No film could suffer a public delay because no specific film was announced to be released on May 22nd, 2026. The game. That's the game right there. Right? I mean, that's it. That's it. They never told you. So therefore, how is something delayed? They don't have to admit to a delay on something when they never said anything in the first place. And I'm going to laugh my ass off when it's not even the second Star Wars movie. Because if I'm betting right now on what I've heard, I don't think it's going to be the second Star Wars movie. I think it's going to be the third still.
Whatever. And so we've always said on this show, like it didn't make any sense to start multiple storylines. It would make sense if you did the Filoni movie or the Mando movie, whatever you wanted to call it. Then maybe you did a one-off First Jedi movie that paralleled whatever events they want to do in a Rey movie, and then move the universe forward in one complete step. Yeah, so people could follow it like that.
But this is the company that did Solo and Rogue One in the middle of the sequel trilogy. So
and then,
it's like I'm with you though.
But then apologize for it.
They didn't apologize for it.
They did. Bob Iger came out and said, "My bad, dog." You know.
No, well, he on his solo, on his greedy ass solo May move, he did. Yeah, Bob Iger did. Yeah. But he didn't apologize for releasing movies in the middle of the sequel trilogy or anything like that. But
hey, he came out crying like a little bitch. He was like, "I'm so sorry."
But no, I mean, but you're right though. I do agree with you though. I mean, like I'm with you. I think that when you release different storylines theatrically, people feel like there's just too much shit coming at them, even when there's not. When you really get down to it, there was like three Star Wars stories, the sequel trilogy, Solo, and Rogue One. And they act like you would have thought they got the Marvel slate for last year, which they, you know what I mean? It's not a lot, but it does seem like it.
During the Harry Potter movies, if they also released some random Fantastic Beasts films in between all that. Like,
oh yeah, I don't know. I'm with you.
How well do you think that would have gone? Like
yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about like what the smartest move is, yeah. But this whole time, since Lindelof was brought on, it was to be this film, which was originally supposed to be a 2025 film. And then it's gone through revisions. But here's the whole thing. So I talked to a source yesterday. We were like, I was telling them a little bit about what you were going through. And we were, just shooting the shit. And they're just like, it's as likely to be the second Star Wars movie as any of them now. Because until they have that draft, that's like, it's go time. It's not go time. It's just not. Nothing's going to change that. And if you think Kathleen Kennedy fucks like that, she doesn't fuck like that, does she? Because she doesn't. It doesn't work that way. It's not how she's going to roll. That they're going to have something that they really believe in, or they're not going to start it. And so I hope it's sooner than later. No one ever reported here that it was canceled. There's a big difference. Huge difference, I think. But what Jermaine did, like I said, I respect that Jermaine goes and talks to them, It was years ago, they were like, hey, can you not maybe release so many spoilers from our movies? And I was like, I don't know. Right? And then I meet with Disney at D23, and they're like, look, all you got to do is just reach out to us. And you ask us, you know what I mean? And we'll we'll tell you, we'll ask you to shut up, go ahead and release, or you can, or we'll give a comment, whichever, give us, some opportunity to release it ourselves, maybe even. So I'm like, okay. So the man who was there at the time, very nice dude. And, I played it. I was like, I remember writing him with my first thing. I'm like, what's his name Lor Santeca? Cause I'm about to release that Max von Sydow is Lord Santeca, and their response was, we'll get back to you, and they just kept playing a game of we'll get back to you, and they never responded. I was just like, you guys are such fucking babies. But Jermaine is from Gizmodo, not from a little independent making Star Wars. You know what I mean? So when he asks, they'll actually answer. And I give him a lot of credit, though, for having the power to ask and actually doing it, because there's a lot of motherfuckers out there that had the same exact opportunity to go and ask the same thing he did, and they didn't. And that's the a difference between Jermaine and the other people in those other big outlets. So give him a lot of credit for that. But at the same time, Disney's statement is obviously going to always be in Disney's favor. And Disney's statement to him is going to make it sound like we're all fine here. We're all fine. How are you? That's going to be
Remember when you reported on them possibly pivoting to a Mando movie months ago, Jason? Right? Did Lucasfilm confirm it right away?
No.
Did he come right and go, oh, he's right, he got us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wily Jason Wards,
Right.
No, of course not. Of course not.
I just yeah, and on the World of Real report, the thing that I doubt is that Stephen Knight went and turned in a draft. I doubt that I do believe that they buried him under a mountain of notes. And I think that mountain of notes is probably why there isn't a draft. So that is my reading.
Talking about this for a month or two now, when his name keeps being brought up, and he's talking about doing a Peaky Blinders movie and stuff like that. I'm like, for the guy writing a Star Wars film, he's really interested in this TV thing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bro, it's a big deal. Not bigger than Star Wars. I don't know, man.
Well, so the whole thing is there's going to be 2 Mando movies that are interconnected, and doing those in order still makes the most sense here. And it still makes the most sense that the Rey movie be the third in that release schedule once the Mando and the Grogu became number 1. So it doesn't mean it is. It doesn't mean that the rollout makes any sense, or when the rollout, like the original rollout, Rob, that doesn't actually make sense for consumers, but made sense for them was, we're trying to develop a trilogy, but we could have these other people developing these standalones at the same time. So therefore we can deliver the most product. Okay. It makes sense. It makes sense from their perspective. To the consumers, it's not a good idea, though. And on this instance right here, here we are. And, we're like, they have to go and they have to release something up next. They moved they pivoted, I think, to The Mandalorian and Grogu because it solves so many problems about how they get to Dave's movie, and it gives this movie a little bit of wiggle room. And that's how this is going to fucking end up. That's going to be the real story. I bet you anything. That's my bet.
There's got to be a tremendous amount of internal pressure to get this one right. They know how Rise of Skywalker was received. And they're not, you know what I mean? These people know. I mean, God knows they know. They some poor sap has to transcribe this show from time to time. They're paying attention, you know? So I'm certain there's just a lot of, you know, we got to, it's got to be this, and it's got to be that, and it's got to do this, you know? And this is funny because this same audience has been saying nonstop for the last 3 or 4 years, don't just put a movie out there. Don't just say we got a release date and we're making a film, regardless of whether we got it. Wait till you got the script done. Wait till you got the script just perfect. Well, that's what they're doing. And now you're like, why don't they get the movie out? Just get the movie out.
That's how we would end up. We would just end up with a bunch of Star Wars movies that are like the Avi, A-Rod movies, right? Like that's what we would end up getting. Just like, oh, here's the best we can do in 18 months.
Where even a lot of the recent Marvel movies have been saying they've been going without, you know, anywhere near a completed script, you know, into production, you know, which is really nuts. I mean, to an extent, some movies don't have a finished blah, 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 blah. But I mean, we're talking like the part of that process at the Marvel side has been to just shoot what you got, and then we'll complete finishing writing the movie when we see what we got. like it hasn't gone well for them the last 3 or 4 years either, you know?
No, which is why right now we have an incredible amount of Star Wars films in development. And so when one of these things hits a roadblock at the last moment and cannot possibly make the schedule, something else might be able to come in. We've
seen something similar to this just a couple of years ago when Patty Jenkins was supposed to be the 2023 movie, because they announced a movie for December 23.
Yeah, the movie came out. We were all there. We saw it. Remember?
Yeah.
When we all went to the theaters.
Remember when she skated?
It's like Top Gun in space.
Remember when she's on her stupid fucking skates and like Lucasfilm was like, "Oh, you're on stupid fucking skates? That's a great idea."
But it was just like, well, she was supposed to be December 2023. Once that was no longer going to be the case, they said, well, Taika's going to be December 2023. They immediately pivoted to Taika and to fill that gap. And that didn't happen.
Remember when the Taika movie came out, and then we were all like, "Yeah, it's like Taika in space." Remember that?
Yeah, it was called, what's it called? Little Tykes? Little Space Tykes?
Like, it's just so frustrating. Like to me, the announcement from last week and the way they worded things of it's going to go into production this year and it's a lead in the film slate. I'm just like, well, that tells you that it's first.
Right.
Whereas last year we were, you know, they went out on stage on a Star Wars Celebration and announced 3 movies, didn't give dates to any of them. You know?
Yeah.
Came out 2 months later with new dates. And none of them was tied to any of those dates. Like
you're not gonna like this analogy, but I think it holds true. I'm gonna bring it up right now. It's a perfect spot for it. I waited 12 years for a sequel to a film I loved. Okay. And it still made $2 billion. All right. And like if you want a film that they're proud to go into production for and they're confident behind, so they could put everything in front of it. They're not winging it. They winged it with Rise of Skywalker on just a wing and a prayer, and JJ will meet that date. And I don't think they want that again. So like, if you got to wait 12 years for this movie and everyone just has to age, that's just the way it is. It could still end up making more money than The Force Awakens. You just don't. But if it's a bad movie, you can't rely on Star Wars to sell it.
Yeah,
like that's it. We don't know. Nobody here wants that. You know, we want Daisy Ridley is a good actress. I enjoy her emotionality in the films is way better than anything in the prequels. Let's just be honest. Like there isn't anyone in the prequels pulling off what she's doing in those films in an authentic way. She's very authentic likability.
Pro tip, Rob, whenever you use Star Wars against Star Wars to make a point, even when it's valid, you lose like half the audience. Just a pro tip with these guys.
Yeah, well, I think it's because when I talk, I lose half the audience. They go, why is this guy fucking saying something? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know. But okay, so
why don't we talk about jellyfish UFOs? Huh? That'll get the number. Oh, look, the number went up. So like we got one.
Hey, our biggest show is actually a UFO show. We've actually been more successful as ufologists than Star Warsers. Even though the UFO stuff is mostly lies and bullshit, and here we actually tell the truth and then get treated like we're ufologists. Anyways, right? Excuse me, guys. The air quality today is not good. I had a great little mini asthma attack when I woke up that caused me to throw up this morning. Fun morning, you know. It's nice. Ray delay day 2, man. It's like I said, it's coming in hot, it's coming in cold, it's all over the place. It's all over my face. All right, January 27th, 2024. That's today. This is the article.
No, it's January 17th, not 27th.
Oh, okay.
There
we go.
You jumped
January 17th, 2024. Right?
Yeah.
Am I reading it right? There we go. All right. Is the untitled Rey Skywalker Star Wars movie releasing in December 2026? Reliable insider hints at release date by Bespin Bulletin. And right here we got Daisy Ridley looking very concerned. She's like, you know what though? We got all we need right here. Okay. On this article, should I read the whole thing?
If you want, yeah.
Okay. The first report came from the World of Real, which I covered yesterday, though many ex-users decided to claim it was my own report. It was not. Yeah, you fucking idiots. As I covered and credited Real, I wrote in my article yesterday, I followed World of Real for a number of years for their film coverage, which typically pertains to smaller movies, like a film from Paul Thomas Anderson, for example. I've seen the outlet get reports correct regarding smaller movies. They don't have much of an interest in the big franchises like Star Wars or Marvel, and as I wrote in yesterday's article covering their report, just because an outlet or individual is successful in one field doesn't mean they're successful in another. The Real report claimed that the Rey film had suffered an indefinite delay and that the delay stemmed from creative issues between Lucasfilm and the film's writer, Stephen Knight. An indefinite delay does not mean a film is canceled or scrapped, which I think some fans assume. It simply means something has been delayed for an unmeasured amount of time. I know the fact that we have to fucking explain this to these fucking people is why we got to quit. That's why we got to get the fuck out of this, Bespin. The outlet added
delay our Fortnite match with this conversation. All right, go ahead.
Fucking indefinitely fucking stupid is what they are. The outlet added that Knight's most recent draft was with so many notes from the studio that he would have to start from scratch. And once again, like I've always said, I don't see how that motherfucker didn't start from scratch anyways. That's the part of the report that does not track for me. Anyways, but maybe he was just going to turn in a draft that wasn't going to be a known like stinker with the first round of changes, and then they would go from there. That sometimes that happens. But anyways, and the writer had become frustrated with the situation. And once again, I know of many writers who have been frustrated with Lucasfilm. They're notoriously fucking aggravating. So even if that's not true, I can tell you it's fucking been true many times. With the outlet adding that there's a chance, not that he had, exit the project. So yeah, I mean, what they're saying, what you're alluding to here in your article, Bespin, is that when it is that annoying, people tend to not stay on the project for long. And that's why I have just been of the opinion that Stephen Knight is unlikely to be the final writer of the Rey film. Like I really have big doubts. And that's not it's not a slight on him. It's not a slight on the project. It's not a lack of confidence in the project. It's the way the fucking industry works. It's the way this goes. Just look at how many writers are listed on episode 9. Look at how many writers you don't even know about that actually have written on things like Rogue One. I mean, you could, back to my old reports. There's quite a few. So anyways, hours later, a journalist I really respect, this is BespinBulletin.com, Jermaine Lucier of Gizmodo shared that according to one of their sources, the Rey film had not been indefinitely delayed and that Stephen Knight was still part of the writing process with Lucasfilm awaiting a new draft from the writer. I also covered this report shortly after its release. And once again, if I was teaching high school journalism and Bespin was my student, I would be like, oh, so the story developed and you covered it. Well, you know what that shows, Bespin, little Bespin? That shows impartiality. It shows that you're just covering the fucking news. So, here you go. Here's a gold star. In my opinion, this is Bespin Bulletin. In my opinion, both reports can be right. They don't conflict at all. World of Real never claimed that Stephen Knight had exited the film, just that he was frustrated and an exit could be possible, but that he was due to pen a new draft. Because Regxit. Is that when you leave a Rex movie? Regxit?
Yeah. Regxit.
It's whenever Tamara Morrison walks off screen. The Regxit. The Gizmodo article stated that Knight is still part of the writing process of the film and that Lucasfilm await a new draft. Both reports say that Knight is still on the Rey film, and both say that Lucasfilm anticipated a new draft. The biggest difference in the reports is that the Reel said the film is suffering an indefinite delay, meaning it has no current release date, and that Gizmodo said that the film had not suffered a delay. Today's news might point towards a release date. Lucasfilm and Disney announced 3 release dates for untitled Star Wars movies in June last year. Movie number 1, May 22nd, 2026. Movie number 2, December 18th, 2026. And movie number 3, December 17th, 2027. It was widely believed, not wildly. I wildly believed it, but widely believed and reported by various reliable insiders, including Jeff Snyder and Making Star Wars, along with the Hollywood trades, that the first movie to release to take the May 2026 release window was the untitled Rey Skywalker film that's set to be directed by Miss Marvel's Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. Lucasfilm never publicly announced that Star Wars movie would helm the May 2026. So once again, what we've already been saying. And okay, here we go. Last week, Lucasfilm announced The Mandalorian and Grogu, a film being written by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, with Favreau also on board for directing duties. In the announcement, Lucasfilm revealed that the film was due to begin production later this year, and that the film would lead the theatrical film slate that includes the Rey Skywalker movie, Filoni's Mandalorian crossover event film, and an untitled film from James Mangold. The wording in the announcement from Lucasfilm seems to imply, at least to me, that the Mandalorian and Grogu film will be the first on their slate to release, which you can read, unlike a lot of these people. You're right. Given that Lucasfilm said that it'll lead their theatrical slate, which means it's likely that the Mandalorian and Grogu would take the May 2026 release window, given that's when the next Star Wars film is due to be released. If this is the case, then the untitled Rey Skywalker film could not release on May 22nd. Despite various outlets hearing that it was planned to be releasing during that window previously. Again, Lucasfilm never specified what Star Wars film would release in May 2026. And that brings us now, or more so, to last night during the latest episode of the Hot Mic. And once again, guys, it's not a guy named Mike, it's MIC. It's not like a hot dude. It's like a totally different show.
How you doing, Mike?
I honestly, I wanted to hear some Star Wars news, and I heard a lot about this male dancer and his trials and tribulations.
I always thought they were referring to Mike Yeaney in the chat when they were talking about the Hot Mic.
What's up, Yeaney? Hey, how you doing?
Just him with his hat on, with his Dave Filoni hat on, like no shirt. The Hot Mic. All right. So we got the Hot Mic here.
You're gonna summon the Filoni, so you keep that out.
Oh shit. All right. Reliable insider and journalist Jeff Snyder was asked about the Rey film suffering a delay. Snyder shared that he already commented on the matter in his X replies, and that reply was, "My comment is trust me, bro, when it comes to Star Wars, and that's about it. See you in December 2026. Which is a funny comment because he won't fucking see that shit. And added a winking emoji. He added on the Hot Mic that he did comment December 2026 in reference to the Rey Skywalker film possibly suffering a delay, and that as far as he is aware, Stephen Knight is the writer and will be given more time. Snyder teased that he has an article in the works, which is part of his paid newsletter that will delve into the Star Wars release schedule. It's worth noting that in the past, Snyder has reportedly said that the untitled Daisy Ridley-led film was the next Star Wars movie to be released, which would place it in the May 2026 release window. In June of last year, Snyder mentioned that Lucasfilm were looking to begin filming on the flick in April 2024, which is totally not happening now. However, on December 7th, Snyder stated on the Hot Mic before The Mandalorian was announced that the next Star Wars film to release was a Mandalorian movie. Snyder at the time said, "We've all been operating under the impression that the Daisy Ridley movie is going to be the next Star Wars movie. I know I certainly was. Anyways, it doesn't sound like that may be the next one." And one little side note, Bespin, you were always saying, I bet you the next film is just this rando fucking film that comes out of almost nowhere. And that's exactly what it was. So credit to you. Jeff Snyder is now hinting at the untitled Rey Skywalker movie releasing in December 2026 when he, myself, Making Star Wars, and the trades and Daisy Ridley had all heard May 2026 previously. Fucking Daisy Ridley's having to probably look on the internet to fucking find out what's going on. They probably didn't even tell her. They're such assholes sometimes. Anyways, I'm not saying that Snyder is incorrect or that he's lied. Absolutely not. I respect Snyder and find him to be very reliable. What I am saying is that he won't help you move. If you ask him to help you move, he won't help you move. He'll say he'll help you. He won't show up. Anyways, what I am saying is that previously the Rey film was likely going to be the next Star Wars film to enter production and be the first to release. However, that is no longer the case, and The Mandalorian and Grogu will be the next Star Wars film to release. Again, Lucasfilm never publicly specified which Star Wars movie was going to release in May 2026. By the way, I want to let everybody know, if The Mandalorian and Grogu is not the next Star Wars movie, I'm just going to quit. Like, when that happens, you will just, if that's not the next Star Wars movie in the end, I'm just going to quit. I'm just fucking done. I just don't fucking care.
What else is there to complain?
I just fucking, you know what? Just put a movie out and I'll fucking see it, I guess. Whatever. All right. Anyways, they never committed the Rey film to the May 2026 window. So how can a film publicly suffer a delay when it didn't even have an announced release date? And once again, this report with the Germain update lines up with the original so much, it's almost not even like a new article. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm having deja vu going through it because it's all the same stuff. Anyways, it can't. But many reliable insiders and trades said it was the next film to release. Because it was. That's why. Because it was. That's what happened. Like I said, in the summer, they were like, let's pivot. Let's turn something from Mandalorian season 4 into a movie. They didn't even know if they were going to be able to do the Mandalorian season 4. Honestly, we know that there's a schedule for Mandalorian season 4 still in effect. We know that. But yet we still don't fucking 100% know that that's not just left hanging and that it's actually like legit at this point. I think it will. I think it will happen. The thing that I heard was that it would be a shorter season and that the film would then take off the back end of it. Is that true, or is that what they went with in the end? I know that it was a plan. We'll see. That's why I said it was a rumor. But anyways, Daisy Ridley said she believed it was a nice theatrical release, but it no longer seems to be the case, and it'll likely release on December 18th, 2026. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's fucking unlikely. That's just my opinion. My opinion is that ain't fucking happening. My opinion is it's going to be the third fucking movie in the end. Honestly, though, when we keep putting dates up for 2026 and it's like that, I almost have to think of it as movie 1, 2, and 3. I can't think of it in release dates. It just doesn't. My brain doesn't work that way with numbers. Anyways, personally, I'm looking forward to every Star Wars film that is currently in active development, and that includes the Rey movie. I really like Ridley's portrayal of the character and love the Force. Oh, this is where you have to do your fucking trust me, guys. I don't hate Rey part, right? The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Sorry you have to do that. Sorry you have to deal with adult children like this. Though I have some issues with The Rise of Skywalker. I've always wanted to see more from Rey post-sequel trilogy and was very excited about the prospect of David Lindelof penned Rey flick. My excitement died down somewhat when Lindelof exited, purely because I'm such a fan of his work, and have yet to connect with any of the works seen from Stephen Knight. Hopefully we get more clarity as to when we'll see the Rey film sooner rather than later. But once again, when somebody reports so that's the end of the article. When somebody reports the fucking news to you, that's not an opinion piece. I know like a lot of these people grow up like, in these little internet bubbles where, I only read a news source that aligns with my political ideology. But that's not what this even is. There's no politics to this stuff. This is an industry thing. This is like, what is the industry doing with Star Wars? And so you reporting on what happened, on what was going on, is what went on. They are literally mad at you for reporting the news.
No,
So
you've seen like even like today, there's like tweets saying we're witnessing the downfall of Bespin Bulletin and we're here for it and all this sort of stuff. I'm like,
yeah,
the fuck, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
you're looking
you
at your house around you. You're like, we're
yeah.
it's crumbling. Like
Geek
you're just going
Furious
into a
says,
cavern.
I prefer to call them children in adult clothes. Can you call people Return to the Jedi pants adult clothes though? I mean, that's the question, Geek Furious. We'll have to ponder it for a while. But
it's just
yeah,
like that's why these
you don't
articles,
even socially like you don't even hang you don't even kick it socially on there
no,
with those cats. So it's like
no.
it's weird. Like I get I call them all fucking idiots. I'm like, you're all fucking idiots and I hate you. I hate Star Wars fans. I've said you all have shit for brains, for instance, which they do. You don't do that stuff, and you're still getting it, which proves to me there is just no winning with these people.
I've said before that, like, obviously when I started doing this stuff, it was through Instagram and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I stopped like posting on Instagram like actual like images like a while ago because I just couldn't deal with like fandom and stuff, and then. Like, I don't really check Twitter. I don't check Reddit. Like, I post the articles to Twitter and stuff, retweet them. And then, that's it. Because, like, I've always said it. Like, I like how I talk about Star Wars now is with you guys and Santa, who I had a good talk with earlier about all this. And as a true, and, my other friends, like outsiders like Tyler and Pevy and wherever. But, like,
yeah,
just doing that. And, it's just bonkers to me because I'm like, I don't know, like a lot of stuff yesterday was just assuming I was against the Rey movie, which I'm not, like, and assuming
but even if you were, so what? You reported the fact. It doesn't matter what your personal feelings are. That's what's so dumb about it to me.
Right, but it was just like, I don't know, like it was just a bit crazy. Like today, like I felt bad yesterday because like we played Fortnite for a bit, like us three, and later me and Jason with Aztrue, and I said to you guys like I feel bad for complaining and expressing my frustration with it all to you guys because I was like I just want to play Fortnite with my friends and not talk about it and not deal with it and just have fun. Because that's why you were there. That's why I'm there. Let's just hang out and have fun. So I felt bad, even just talking about it to you guys, even though I know you don't give a shit. You're not going to judge or anything. It's just like, but I don't even want to deal with it. You know, like you said, I just covered the news, and it wasn't my report. It was treated as if it was for some reason, and I covered Jermaine and I covered Snyder because it's just covering the news, like and. The update on everything to follow the World of Real thing. So Jermaine, and then Snyder was asked directly about it and hinted at December 2026 to the point where he's now saying he's gonna put out an article which is in his like paid newsletter, but he's gonna delve into what he's heard about schedule. Like so I
what he
followed
also
the
said,
story.
Bespin? You know what he also said? He said he thinks Bob Iger's afraid of Kathleen Kennedy because she's such good friends with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I mean, he did say that. He went right into it. He goes, you know what I think? I think he's afraid of fire. If he fired her, he'd make a lot
of didn't he? Like
yeah. He literally threw Bob Iger to the mob in the same show. It wasn't like days later. It was just a half hour later. Yeah.
But again, I'm not gonna write about that because that like says, oh, he must be against Kathleen Kennedy, like me or Snyder. And I'm like, I'm not going to touch that, Like, it's like yesterday, like you said on this show, you were like, oh, yeah, I heard from a source that the World of Real thing is kind of on. I was like, I'm not writing down an article because I don't want Jason to get dragged into this either.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah, no, I think there's a little bit of a slight tinge of cynicism in the World of Real article. I think it's mostly factual, but that cynicism that is there aligns with what people at Disney think. So that's the comedy of it. That's, you know what I mean? That's where we're at. I mean, it's like until Lucasfilm puts up with and has a script, it's nothing. And there's nothing there until they have something to put there, and they don't have anything to put there right now. So they have an intention, but how many intentions have you all followed along with Lucasfilm over the years, only to see them fall apart? Well, what makes this one so
waiting
special?
for that Michael Lawrence script for I want to read it so much, Jason. It's my
on that
it's
one.
my
I mean,
holy art.
He was
like Holy Grail, holy art. It's a shiny holy art.
Yeah, but I mean that's the whole thing. I think you would be really stupid to go like, oh no, it's gonna happen, and I'd bet the farm on it. That's gonna be the second one now. I hope it comes out. I mean, I only hope it's the second one in the sense, like I said, I think they would be better off doing Mando Ray. Mando Ray. That would be the right way to go. And then if that one by Mangold does talk to the Ray film, then and you do put it out, at least thematically, even though it's not in succession or a part of the story, it would thematically link up to it. And I'm okay with that too. So I think that's how they should go.
And since they watch this show from time to time, I hope they hear us when we say, hey, use the bit that was in Bloodlines with Luke and Leia about Vader with Rey being a Palpatine. You know, like that would upset it's a great starting point, and it would give that move that's controversial and or like it or not like it would give it some form of actual forward movement, a meaning to it beyond just a weird anecdote.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. Like we said, I think we said it really recently, like what I call the witch plot idea. And that's, Jedi during the dark times that we originally had, they're hunted down. It's illegal to be a Jedi. You'll be killed under the Empire. And that's Jedi on the ropes is what we've classically liked. And if you're going to tell stories, you have to have adversity. You have to have something to overcome. And so if you have the Jedi start off being looked at as heretics that need to be destroyed, like when Highlander gets up and his village turns against him. Because like, oh shit, Highlander, you can't get up. You're a Highlander. That's crazy. You're a witch. Kill it.
You excited for that new Highlander movie? By the way,
so here's the thing is I like the first Highlander movie as a good movie, and then I've wanted every Highlander thing since the first one to be cool, and they've never have been. So I'm like, I hope somebody does. I think the Highlander concept is badass.
So what do you think of the people attached to it? Then? So it's like Chad Stahelski from the John Wick movies, and isn't it Henry Cavill as the lead?
That isn't a bad start. That isn't a bad start. I mean. Sounds like it could be cool, man. But, like some of the Star Wars release dates, I've been burned by Highlander so many times. I don't really believe anything until we are about to go into production.
I had fucking nightmares because of you last night, by the way.
Me?
Yeah.
What'd I do?
I was like half a fucking sleep, but I was like trying to stay awake to see if Snyder did his newsletter because there was a chance. Because he said it was either going to be over the course of the next 3 days. So it could have been yesterday that he talked about the Star Wars schedule. Okay. And so anytime my phone would buzz, I would like sort of wake up from my sleepy state.
Yeah.
But at one point, I fucking opened the phone and there's this horrifying picture of Slimer. And I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at because I was so tired. And I went back to sleep. I kept seeing this fucking thing in my dreams.
Nice.
Like, I woke up thinking of it. What the fuck was that thing? Like, and it's bad. So he's a scary looking motherfucker this time. Like
the Slimer puppet for the new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire movie. There's a picture of him inside Empire magazine, that the newsstand version, not the internet versions of it.
So,
and it looks great.
Bespin, Slimer in the original Ghostbusters was not the cute character you remember him to be. I've been hoping that they just give Slimer a kid and pass it over.
He's not part of our generation. Slimer to him is not any of that stuff. I don't think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Slimer to me is just how he is in the first Ghostbusters. That's all he looks like. I don't really associate him with the real Ghostbusters or anything. It's just what he looks like in that movie. And I rewatched that movie recently in 4K, and it didn't look good in 4K. So.
It's what it looks like.
No, well, that's because they added a shitload of grain. It's really weird, dude. It's
they didn't add grain. That grain's always been there.
No, it hasn't. Because I watch it in the original. No, I watch original prints once a year at
me
Coronado.
Too.
That's not
me
what
too. I just saw it like recently. It looks like it's shot on video. It looks like it's not shot on traditional film, dude.
No,
it's not. It's not shot on traditional film. They've said that, right? Like,
yeah, it's not. It always looked like a music video.
Yeah,
it looked like. What's that filter on Instagram? The one like X Pro. It looks like video with X Pro on it. Like it always has though.
But again,
No,
it was
that
just
doesn't look
so that's what Slimer is to me. It's just what he looks like in the first one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's cute. He's not cute, but like the picture was way more fucking horrifying than what he usually looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
No, and like the Slimer design isn't even, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't even think it's consistent in Ghostbusters 2. I think they might have used like
It's
two
not.
different things.
Yeah.
I think they used like two different puppets and two, like one for the credits. Remember there's like the scene where he opens the bus in part 2 to let Scully on. Is it Scully or Sully? I can't remember now. And then there's like the him at the end where it goes like "End Slimer," and I think that's a different one. Strangely, in the Lucasfilm fan club magazine at the time, they used Lewis Scully. What's his last name though? What's Lewis's last name? Is it Scully or Sully? Scully. Anyways,
Scully, sure.
You know help. Yeah, they actually covered that in the Star Wars magazine though. The ILM like visual effect for Ghostbusters 2 on Slimer.
Lewis Tully.
It's Tully. Thank you.
Tully.
Yeah, I knew it was. Thank you, Thrawn. Yeah. So yeah. Why? So the whole thing though about that Ray movie, to go back on to that topic really quickly, I think that it's going to come out. I do think that movie will be made. I think that like unlike the other Star Wars movies that can fall off, like a Rogue Squadron movie, it can just fall off because all we know is it's a Rogue Squadron movie. We don't know who the protagonist is. We have no attachment to them. It doesn't even matter. A Rey movie that's been announced with the lead actor from, multi-billion-dollar film series and so on isn't something that you just sweep under the rug and then forget about. Usually that's very unlikely. So I do think that we will see that Rey movie. I don't think you or anybody on this show ever said the Rey movie isn't happening, it's canceled, or thought that, or implied that, or meant to in any way at all. And I think that the people who are going with it are just not really being genuine. And once again, like if the people have like a problem with spoilers, if that's like their beef with anything, it's very easy to block the spoiler community out of Star Wars if you don't want it. I mean, the reliable stuff only comes from a couple places, like 3-4 places. Block them all. And then you could just live in your, spoiler-free environment all you want. But it's really weird that there are the pitchforks coming for you at all.
We said it was weird last year when I did the SAG article. Again, like it was a similar situation. Nobody read it because, like, in that I was more critical of Bob Iger and how much money he's going to make that year in comparison to all these writers and actors who don't even make a decent living.
Yeah,
but people were all trying to attack me then, and like some people who did read it were just like, "You're just explaining everything and not telling me what I want to know." I was like, "Well, that guy read it, like."
Yeah, at least he read it.
Yeah, but like all the other people who were just attacking me, and was just like, well, you didn't read it because I on the side.
Well, in that one, you had a quote influencer who was trying to, once again, it's always somebody who gets it going, and then a bunch of the villagers with pitchforks that are just down to go. Oh, we're going to get that guy. Let's go get him. You know what I mean? I'm on the internet. Let's fucking get him. And that was a quote influencer who was like, how dare somebody cover a struck, as if you're in fucking SAG, as if SAG is giving you health insurance and shit. You know what I mean? It ain't giving you a fucking thing. We don't have, SAG could suck my balls. I don't care about anything about SAG, and no one else who's not in SAG should. We care about the people who were being fucked over by the industry, of course. But and what you were covering was in that instance on their side. So what do we see here? We see the commonality is that there is one fucking loser who wants attention, who's down to throw somebody who they perceive to be bigger under the bus so that they can step up on him. Oh, yeah, fuck him too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's just like that's what these cats do. That's what they've always done. And like, even like when, I'm, like I said, I'm way more combative than you with dumb, you just look away and walk away from the fools. And I was an idiot, and I just tried to fight with them. I thought this stupid motherfucker can see reason. I will help. And I'm a fool. I was an idiot for ever thinking that. And so like when I was starting up and I was doing this shit, like every single time I put out any story, and I put out a fuck ton, it was just a fuckload of anxiety and pain, and it was barely worth it. And the reason that I've always thought it was worth it is because I want to talk about this stuff. I want to see what people think. I want to see what people say, and I want to savor the flavor. You know what I'm saying? Like, the movie comes out, there's little minutia we'll never talk about. Excuse me. There's like little minutia we'll just never hit. But if it's a leak, you know, nobody's when fucking people see wolves in Ahsoka, nobody's really talking about it. Yeah, it had its time here. We got to discuss it. We got to dig into the little details, little fine things that would just be overlooked. And so like that's why I like when spoiler articles come out. That's why I like when there are leaks. I would never like truly want a Star Wars film to like leak on the internet. Like, I'm not like, yeah, let's just take it. Like, I'm not like that. I'm like, let's talk about what's going on, what's happening. And then when we see it, we could go, okay. And then, you know, and I've always been of the opinion that it helps us actually contend with what's on screen when we see it for the first time and judge it accurately, instead of being bombarded and I think it dampens the recency bias a little bit on the part of us, of the fans, but it also allows us to take in, you know, what's going on. And studies have shown, and I'm not joking, studies have shown that people who've read a book or read spoilers before tend to enjoy the product more than those who didn't. And so, you know, that's how we roll on this side of things in this part of the culture. And then you have the other people, though, that they think if they go out and they just like get their face right up in Lucasfilm's booty and just start licking, saying spoilers are bad, lick, and just keep doing it all day long, that Lucasfilm's going to turn around and go, hey, you want to be here at Lucasfilm with us? Come here, give me your hand. Give me your hand, little guy. They're going to pull him up, and they're just going to get like a suit, and they're going to go to work at Lucasfilm. And they're going to be right there with Dave Filoni saying, here's what I think. I think that General Grievous should come back. And you know what? It's not going to happen. That's not how it works. You got to be working. You got to be doing shit if you want the job.
No, I think General Grievous should come right on my...
What?
Okay, I can't
no, Dave, come on. Felonious D.
Can't let
Dave
you do
Filoni.
that. It's Filoni.
David Felonious D. Yeah. But I mean, so like, but that's kind of what, when you're a leaker, which I hate the term leaker. I think it's fucking stupid. I know, right? Fucking leak. I mean, come on. No, but you know, when what you end up doing though is you have those people that are like, you know, that clutch their pearls, like, how dare you go against the word of Mickey Mouse, you motherfucker? You know, it's like, come on, who cares? Who gives a shit? And then you have the people that they're going to get hired, the people that they're going to gain favor, and that, you know, Daisy Ridley's going to ask them on a date or something. I don't know what they think. Harrison Ford's going to take him up on his airplane and crash him into a fucking mountain or something.
Oh,
and then they could eat his butt like alive and get hired on to Lucasfilm.
I'm telling you, I'd watch that movie. Like, I'm letting you know. You could.
Shanky says,
you get that one in the theaters. Yeah.
Shanky says General Grievous comes with 4 cocks.
Pulls them right out. Right.
All micro dicks, though. All micro dicks.
Oh my god! Is that why he's such an asshole? Is that why he's so cranky? Yeah, it makes sense. But he doesn't have COVID tongue, though.
No, he doesn't. It's fucking minging. Disgusting to look at.
This poor guy, man, is like going through COVID right now. He's like sick as hell, and all this shit has to deal with all of this shit. You know, I feel bad.
I appreciate the people, like, you know, like obviously on here yesterday and today, and then some people on Twitter, wherever, just defending. Not that they should have had to do that.
Yeah.
Or like you guys shouldn't have had to do that or anything, because there shouldn't have been anything to defend. I still think that there isn't, like, but I appreciate it. Everybody that, you know, helped out, even the people I don't really speak to or anything. Like, so yeah, so I appreciate that stuff. But it's like, I don't know, man. I just like, I love Star Wars. I love writing. And those are things I thought would bring me joy in life, but
Yeah.
too often than not, it's very draining, and so it's annoying. And like I said, I hate talking about like this sort of shit. I especially hate talking. Like yesterday, we were supposed to be a fortnight and have fun, and I talked about this stuff, and we talked about it, and I genuinely felt guilty because that's how stupid my brain is.
No.
Because I'm like, I don't want to hang out and play with my friends. I don't want to talk about this shit, but my brain wouldn't let me. So
yeah, no,
but yeah.
Well,
we're there for you, Bespin.
Yeah,
like,
no, and when I started, like, when I decided, fuck the whole system. This whole system is rigged, and I'm not gonna just try to kiss ass until I get something. I'm like, I'm just gonna do this on my own, and started going my own way. I was doing it like I had absolutely nobody. Everyone who pretended to be my friend at the time, they weren't there one time when anything went down. One time when it was just like a lot of pressure and a lot of bullshit, they would all flee, all of them. Like they were all trash people. I just didn't know it then. It was like kind of becoming evident, as time went on, but I didn't know yet. You know what I'm saying? And you got buds who care about you and who can also understand what you're going through when that happens. So, it's not I get it. And like you try to explain it to somebody outside of it too, and they just don't they don't get it. At least in my experience, you know what I mean? I try to tell like a family member about the psychos and what's all that shit. They just don't understand it. It just doesn't.
So it's not real.
Yeah,
it's not real life, is it? Yeah, it's like
it's like it's real, but it's not real to them because they don't give a shit about the culture. So it's like, it's like you're outside of the culture. It's just like, so what? Like what do I care about? What some Inuits think of me? You know what I mean? That's kind of what it's like for them.
So a couple years ago, Bespin, right? This artist J. Scott Campbell, he's pretty famous in the comic book scene, right? He created things like Danger Girl and whatever. He does a lot of stuff. He had this Black Cat cover that fans were raging about, lefties that were like, you're sexualizing, Mary Jane or Black Cat, right? That's what it was.
Nice.
And so he said, hey, just redraw the cover in your art style. That was his whole thing, right? So a lot of people took that as like they were trying to redraw like how he drew it. I don't know. So I was like, I'm going to redraw this. Just I will do it in a way that I know would never get approved at Marvel, like in a very cartoony, different style. And I gave her thick legs and just a body type that I thought was interesting and fun, cartoony. Well, I got this insane amount of hate I got love from right wingers and hate from lefties for like sexual. It was like this is the weirdest thing, man. I'm like, he said draw it in your art style. He didn't say draw it the way you think it should. Like I can't replace the cover that's already out there. There's an official cover at Marvel. I can't replace this. But I got insane hate, dude.
Really?
From that whole fan base. And one of them was like, this isn't realistic and you're blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, Calvin and Hobbes isn't realistic. I'm a cartoonist. When you look at Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes, he has no legs, right? And this chick goes, you're sexualizing Calvin. That's disgusting. And so I just sent her a picture.
What are you, wait, were you trying to fuck his nubs where his feet were supposed to be? I don't understand.
So I just sent her a picture, that Bill Watterson would never sexualize Calvin. So I sent her a picture of Bill Watterson. One of the many times he drew Calvin butt naked, running out of the tub, right? Like, because they're on some weird, they think they know who you are. They think they have a perceived vision of the universe and everything's moving around them, you know? And they can't see past it. Right, left, doesn't matter. Like when you're in that swirling vortex of the world revolves around you, you better take yourself out of that equation quickly. That's an ego check, big ego check. You got to know you're small. We're all just a little worm on a big fucking hook, right? I hate to quote the Crow. And treat the people you don't know, right? Like with kindness. And if they retaliate at you, then you got something to say. But Bespin's never had a fucking harsh thing to say about anybody. He doesn't
interact. He doesn't even interact. That's what I find. That I mean, in a way, don't get me wrong. I am not happy about your pain, but it does relieve mine just a little bit when I think back on things. I'm like, there's absolutely nothing I could have done on some of the things. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no right answer. And like I always found that when I did interact, then they would just find something new to, there are people that are, I think, need to vent about something, and they take out their frustrations on other things. I think that's like,
correct.
And I think a lot of it too, they used to be bullies. Like they would bully people, and it's harder to bully people today. Bullying, or these people were good,
bullied, and now they're getting a chance to pay. They think to pay it back, and they may not even be aware of it.
They either people that are bullied either become empathetic or bullies themselves. It's never. I know it's just the way I've noticed it goes usually. Yeah. And so, but on the internet, but it's like, it's like, who would be mad about? I mean, it's like on Bespin Bulletin, it's like you don't even have to read it. It's not like he's tweeting out 17 fucking tweets a day.
And most people who are complaining didn't read it.
Yeah, no, of course they didn't read it at all. Because even the person who was kicking it up didn't read it, or if he did, he's just the most insincere person ever. But I find that guy just to be pathetic and to be a piece of shit. I think he's a fucking pussy, to be honest with you. I think he's the kind of guy who would never get into a fight and never start a fight. But if there was somebody getting beat up, he's the kind of guy who would come up and sock him when he thinks they're down. And I think he's trash. That's my opinion. Steven says the next time Bespin reports the good news people want to hear, they're going to completely forget what they said before and hope you forgot. And that's exactly how it's going to go. And like, I remember like we were just talking, we were having a theoretical conversation about something else and acting like they're even going to remember today. They're not. Most of these people just will go and say like just the most egregious things and then leave it at that. In all of my years of doing this shit, I probably had like 4 people ever go like, hey, I'm sorry. Like I said a bunch of bad shit about you and it wasn't right. I was just, going off. And I was like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like I respect when people do it, but it rarely happens. Most people just forget they ever did it. Cascadian says, you were so over generous with those haters, Jason. I'm sorry you had to experience that. Yeah, it's garbage. And I think if you're a content creator, like for instance, let's just say somebody has a real shit take on Obaid Chinoy being fired, and I disagree with it. I don't think you go after the person. I think you could go after the idea that the person had. I think that's fair. Like if I hear something just incredibly stupid, like, oh, Kathleen Kennedy should be fired and James Gunn should be put in her place. I would never cover that, but let's just pretend. I wouldn't go and say, oh, Rob said this stupid fucking thing and put his Twitter account up or whatever. And then like go in like that is bullying.
Our chat would though. Like our chat and it's with me.
and it's, well, you deserve it, but it's candy assed. It really is. And so like, if that person wanted to be like, oh my God, I am just eye rolling the idea that the Ray movie is indefinitely delayed. Fair enough. You can do that all you want. But when they decide to go after the person reporting it as if they are responsible for it even existing, and then like this idea that you're supposed to be like the gatekeeper of information and stuff like that. If they were subscribing to that concept, you do a great job of that. You don't report every time we got this covered says that there's a Glup Shitto series coming out. You don't do it. And then they also do not understand what the definition or the concept of clickbait is. Because if you are clickbaiting, you fucking suck at it, Bespin. Just so you know, you're fucking trash. You're not making enough money. Trash. You give away too much info. You know what I mean? It does. Yeah.
I would say we could do Making Up Star Wars and have a much more fun time and lucrative time on this channel.
Oh, easily. Fucking, you guys want to know about the Cad Bane series that Bob Iger won't let you see because he's a bitch and he hates you?
Hey, but Jason, remember years ago when it was a Rogue One director being replaced and 40% of the up to 60% of the footage might be reshot, and everyone said no, Lucasfilm denied that completely. It's not happening.
They went on me hard on that. Even Pablo Hidalgo was calling me a liar.
Right, but what happened? I watched that unfold. I'm like,
they
that's
went
exactly what
they
happened.
they went and reshot 40% of the movie with Tony Gilroy and gave him a series.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
that's what happened. So you know what I mean? Like I'm only here talking with Jason about Star Wars because I enjoy Jason's take on Star Wars, and I met Bespin along the way, and Azatru and Meg and Santa, and I mean they're ranked in that order. But
I like Santa. All the rest of you guys are kind of suck, but Santa's cool.
Yeah. But I mean, we've seen this all happen before. Like Lucasfilm has the worst PR, and if they were really smart, they would just start an honest dialogue with their fans in a stock friendly way. I think all this comes down to they're afraid of their Disney stock crashing if they admit to anything. That's really what it comes down to.
I don't know. I don't even know if the stock is affected when these things come out. I never paid attention to it. If anybody in the chat who's like a regular on the show does though, let's start paying attention to it. Help us pay attention to that. 'Cause I'm curious if it affects anything at all. Like in the,
when the
I'm
official
sure,
announcement, rumors won't do it. But if Kathleen
No,
Kennedy
I mean,
says, this has been delayed indefinitely, boom.
yeah. Like, do we see when a news story like the last 2 days occurs? Do we see any fluctuation whatsoever? I'm of the opinion I haven't followed it, but probably not. Because I honestly think if it did, they would come at us more. I think they would come at us if we were affecting their cash.
Well, I think it happened with like a trade. If a trade reports like this project is in trouble, this person's exited, that might affect it more then because again they're the trades, they're the big boys, so
Kevin Feige's painted himself silver and he won't leave a room and he says he's a robot now.
Well,
like that.
That really happened.
He's the Silver Surfer. He says he's the Silver Surfer. He's cast himself as the Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
and
he wears tuck swimsuits though, so you know what I mean. Like you could.
And he says his Star Wars movie is called Ichuta, and he's also the elite in that. He's gonna put the silver droid that talks shit to C-3PO and Empire Strikes Back. That was his movie.
Ichuta. I could do that voice, Jason.
That's fair. Yeah. But it's a pain in the ass doing this in a way that it shouldn't be, and it's not fair. And the idea that we're driving around in Lambos like we're fucking Star Wars Theory or something is an absurd notion that I saw them also trying to push. We probably make more money than a couple of the people that are bitching, and way less than a couple of the people that are bitching. And it's funny because it's all a bunch of it starts with a core group of content creators who think the pie is very small. It's a big ass pizza pie, and there's enough pieces in there for all of the content creators to be serving it up just fine, and to have no one is taking your like. Am I a fan of Star Wars Theory? I'm not whatsoever. Fucking don't care what that guy has to say about a fucking thing in the world. That said, I don't think he's taking $1 from me at all. I don't think there's $1 going to Star Wars Theory that would be going to me if he didn't exist. But that's how their brains think. And that's just not the case. Because there's just different flavors of bullshit that people like. And that's just what it comes down to. And but like the fucking loser who's kicking it up and fucking quote tweeting Bespin and stuff like that. There's not a fucking thing you do that overlaps with a fucking thing we do, or that he does, especially. Take me out of it, just him. Which is why you're a fucking idiot. You're a one-trick pony, a bad interviewer. You're boring as fuck, and the most interesting thing about you is your bad takes about my friend Bespin. How fucking pathetic is that? How about you try to get relevant without even saying his name? How about you try that? Oh, well, I almost got 7,000 followers on Twitter. I'm really growing up. I'm a rising star. Oh, fuck you. Nobody cares. Your shit's boring. And the only reason why your shit is even a thing is because you get other content creators on and interview them. And then you get some of their fucking backsplash. That's the only reason why. But once again, we got to make it personal all the time. Well, fuck you. When I want to make it personal.
Yeah, I don't want to hear guys claiming to be progressive and then they're simping for Elon Musk. Dude. You know what I mean? Like that's basically it. You know, it's like, all right, get the fuck off that platform, and you feel so fucking strongly about it. Like, oh no, but I need the views. I need the numbers.
Mhm.
I'll be irrelevant without shitter. You know, what am I gonna
Yeah.
do?
No, I mean, no,
I don't need it.
it's
Fuck
no,
that. I
it's
mean, some people, you know, if you want to be there, be there. But don't
we
fucking
do
act
need
like-
it. No, we actually do need
yeah,
it.
you
But
need
if we were as principled as you know, the pearl clutchers are acting like they would be on
Correct.
they would be on the other bad guy threads.
Correct.
They'd be with the other corporation that just hasn't done overtly the same things recently that one's doing. That's all.
Correct.
But that's the problem. Is it's all the same shit. Oh, trust me, Thron's all. Remember those who dropped you? Oh, I fucking remember. Don't worry. I'll never forget.
Yeah, you can trigger Jason on Fortnite every now and then if you bring up a few.
Well,
Like,
you know,
he goes into berserker mode and just kills the whole map. It's great. Like,
No, honestly though, what happened with me was I didn't trust any of them. And I thought like, and I was saying as much. And the person I was in a relationship with around that time was like, you're paranoid. They're all great people. And then when that broke down and ended, and that person was still saying that to me, I was like, oh, maybe it's me. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe and I'm like, maybe I have like really big trust issues. Maybe I'm sensing things that aren't there, blah, blah, blah. It got into my head, and then it allowed that to permeate and to become what it became for me. And no, every single impulse I ever had, every little thing, trust your gut, never let anybody do that to you. That's what happened to me. I did it to myself. I'm a man. I'm responsible for letting that happen to myself. But in that, that is what happened. And every single one of those people that I ever expressed, oh, I don't know if I trust so-and-so. I don't know if so-and-so is like really good for me and us and so on. It turned out, no, they were not. They weren't. It's you really kind of think like at some point, like for the most part, you think like, oh, everybody's in this because they love this thing. It's a fame grab. It's a ladder. It's a stepping stone to bigger things. Hopefully, the comedy of it is every single one of those motherfuckers, every single one of those people is no better off now. They were, and it was only because of because of the hand that I was giving them that was helping them at the time. And they shot themselves in the foot more, you know what I mean? In doing so. So there's a little bit of, you know, comedy to that, I guess. But anyways, Jonesy says that the Disney stock has an increase of 0.3% from January 11th to the 16th. The increase happened the day after you talked about Mando and Grogu was a confirmed movie. Don't know if it's a coincidence. Yeah, I do think that that would help it. So I guess now the question would be, what's the date today? Today's the 17th. So I guess we'll have to see if it seems to change at all, you know, the next couple of days. But yeah,
but they would need an official. We delayed the movie, but I don't know. I think with the Mando thing, it would make it null and void. Look, I've always wondered if that's why they're timid about just having a regular, like, Kathy by the fireside chat, you know, like whatever. But also, the thing is this is not what she does. She's not a PR person. She doesn't care. She's gonna move forward, and she never did that with Amblin. She wasn't giving out tons of interviews all the time, putting out an annual newsletter letting you know when the ET sequel was canceled. You know what I mean? Like she was, Dark Skies and all that stuff. You're never getting that. That was all Starlog. Everything would be in Starlog or the trades and stuff. So I think she's just running business the way she's always run it. That's it, you know. And I do think I appreciate, whether I agree with the prequels or not, I appreciated George's openness with sharing the development of those. Not after the fact, but even during the fact, like along the way. You know, he was the most open out of anyone at the time.
But what ended up happening is it ended up leading to the fantastic beginning documentary that people use as ammo against it and to make a narrative. I mean, when the documentary is not even really real. I mean, when you watch it today with today's like lens, you're like, oh, these people are kind of pretending like this is like that meeting when it's not.
It's still fun to watch. Like,
oh, I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, and there is real stuff, and I'm not saying the whole thing is a farce, but you know, like everybody is very uncomfortable in front of the camera and being a little bit of performative at the same time and stuff. But so in saying anything, the less you say, the less they could get you on. And that's why Lucasfilm, once again, hasn't put a release date to any of these movies. The wording gives you what the intent is, but also it doesn't. They could say, no, it's the second. If Jon Favreau hits writer's block tonight, they're like, oh no, it was the Rey movie next always. You're all dumb. And it's just like, it's musical chairs. It's movie musical chairs. And so, and to pretend like it isn't though, is disingenuous or uninformed. If that makes sense.
I think that covers it, Jason.
Okay. I think it does too. Anyways, thank you to everyone for being a channel member. Shadow Ostrich is a new channel member today. Appreciate that. And thank you for the super chats. Yesterday, Brandon, no, sorry, it was Ben. Ben, not Brandon. Ben gave not you, Brandon. Stop trying to take the credit. I looked at his name. That's why I said it. Ben gave a super chat at the end saying, just here's for being you. Love you guys, or something like that. So thank you, Ben. I didn't mean to overlook that super chat before the show ended, but I was already like in the control panel closing the show down when you sent it. I appreciate it though a lot.
He was watching the numbers drop as I was talking about a certain topic.
Oh yeah, you were a killer. Craig Sheldon, also channel member. Appreciate it. Thanks, man. We appreciate the support. And wait, I missed your super chat, Bun Sauce. What'd you say, Bun Sauce? Number one, I think you're lying. But go ahead, Bun Sauce. This is your free super chat.
Bun Sauce.
I think Bun Sauce is I think he's saucing us up right now. But it wasn't today because it should be in. I could look at the super chats and see what we had. But was it yesterday? Did I leave one yesterday? If I did, Bun Sauce, I'll get you, man. I'll get you right now. This is your chance.
Leg, man.
I think so too. He's a fucking liar. You know what? We gotta go. Fuck you, Bun Sauce. After the week we've had, Bun Sauce. Oh, all right. Bye, everybody.
Send you pictures of my tongue, Bun Sauce, for this.
Oh, you're gonna throw up. And tell us when you're eating. Tell us when you're eating so we can send you Bespin's tongue pics. Hey, oh no, we got sauced up from Quentin. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll see everybody tomorrow. I'm sure there will be some developments, and we'll cover it tomorrow. If any big developments show up, we will be back, and we will cover it if it's big enough. We'll get back on. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye. Bye, Bespin. Thanks for showing up, dude. Appreciate it, man. Bye, Rob.
No worries.
I'll see you guys.
Bye.
Jason is here.
Bastard.